The Silent Christmas of the Kukis, a struggle for survival amidst crisis. For many, Christmas is a time of joy, peace, and celebration, a season marked by family gatherings, festive meals, and religious observances. But for the Kukis in Manipur, Christmas 2024 is a time of mourning and resilience. Amid ongoing ethnic violence and displacement caused by the conflict between the Kuki and Meitei communities, the spirit of the holiday has been overshadowed by grief, fear, and a desperate struggle for survival. The Kukis, having suffered enormous losses and displacement, are finding it impossible to celebrate the traditional spirit of Christmas. In their place, there is a stark reality: the constant vigilance of Kuki volunteers, the harrowing experiences of Kuki women defending their homes, and the overarching importance of maintaining buffer zones to protect Kuki territories. This article sheds light on the dire situation the Kukis find themselves in during the Christmas season of 2024, their unyielding efforts to protect their land, and the crucial role that Kuki women play in ensuring the survival of their communities. Citing traditions from 1,000 years ago, the Kuki family mounted the horse and made their specific round trip. The political and social context. Manipur, a state in northeast India, has long been divided by ethnic and political tensions. The Meitei people, who constitute the majority in the Imphal Valley, have historically held political, cultural, and economic power. The Kukis, an indigenous ethnic group primarily located in the hills of Manipur, have long faced marginalization, both politically and economically. Over the years, simmering tensions between these two communities have led to occasional violence, but the situation reached a breaking point in 2023, when large-scale conflict erupted between the Meitei and Kuki communities. The violence has resulted in widespread displacement, destruction, and loss of life, particularly among the Kuki people. Thousands of Kukis have been forced to flee their homes, with many taking refuge in the hills, forests, and makeshift camps, struggling to survive amidst ongoing hostilities. The conflict has left deep scars, with entire villages burned, homes destroyed, and countless lives lost. As Christmas 2024 approaches, the Kukis find themselves far from their homes, living in fear and uncertainty, with no real prospect of returning to normalcy. Okay, the buffer zones, protecting Kuki territories. One of the key strategies that the Kuki people have employed to protect themselves during this time of crisis is maintaining buffer zones between Kuki-dominated territories and Meitei-controlled areas, which is already created by MHA. These buffer zones, formed through the collective efforts of Kuki volunteers, Indian Army, are intended to create a barrier of safety and prevent direct conflict between the two communities. The buffer zones are crucial for maintaining the fragile peace that exists in some parts of Manipur. These areas serve as a physical separation, minimizing the chances of violent confrontations. The role of Kuki volunteers in maintaining these zones is vital. They patrol the boundaries of Kuki territories day and night, ensuring that no armed groups or intruders from the Meitei side can encroach on Kuki lands. Despite the presence of thousands of security forces in the region, these volunteers are often the first and most reliable line of defense. And the importance of these buffer zones cannot be overstated. As the violence between the two communities escalates, the need for physical separation has become more urgent. Without these zones, the risk of all-out conflict increases, with devastating consequences for both sides. The Kukis, having been victims of displacement and violence, understand that their survival depends on the protection of these boundaries. The volunteers, many of whom are unarmed civilians, risk their lives to ensure that their communities are not swallowed by the ongoing conflict. The role of Kuki women in the defense of their communities. In the face of mounting violence, Kuki women have emerged as crucial figures leaders in the defense of their communities. While many men have taken up arms and joined the Kuki army, women have played an equally important role in the protection of Kuki territories. These women, often unarmed, have stood resolutely at the front lines, guarding their villages, homes, and families from intruders. Their role has been particularly vital in preventing illegal incursions by security forces, who were often accused of acting on the wrong advice or in a biased manner. There are reports suggesting that some security personnel may be working under the influence of Métis officials, leading to unlawful activities in Kuki areas. In this volatile environment, the presence of Kuki women in sensitive zones has become essential to prevent these forces from carrying out illegal actions or targeting innocent civilians. Kuki women have, in many instances, taken a firm stand against these intrusions. Despite being unarmed and facing the possibility of violence, they have confronted security forces, demanding that their rights and territories be respected. These women have become symbols of resilience, courage, and nonviolent resistance, proving that the protection of their people does not always require arms or violence. Their stand is one of moral authority, a call for justice, and a refusal to let their communities be further exploited or harmed. Kuki women have also played an instrumental role in ensuring that their displaced families have access to basic resources, such as food, water, and medical aid. In the refugee camps, many women have taken on leadership roles, organizing their communities, maintaining order, and advocating for their rights in the face of ongoing neglect by the authorities. In this sense, the women of the Kuki community have become the backbone of the displaced population, embodying the spirit of survival and community solidarity. The pain of displacement, a silent Christmas. Christmas is traditionally a time of celebration, reflection, and coming together. However, for the Kukis in 2024, it is a time of mourning and survival. The festive spirit is replaced by the pain of displacement, the grief of losing loved ones, and the anxiety of living under constant threat. Many Kukis, particularly those in the displacement camps, have been unable to observe the holiday as they once did. There are no gatherings, no feasts, and no decorations. Instead, there are only the echoes of gunfire, the distant sounds of military patrols, and the anguish of families who have lost their homes. The lack of security in the camps has further deepened the hardship. Despite the presence of large numbers of security forces, the Kukis feel unsafe. Many have been the victims of violence or unlawful acts by armed groups or security personnel. The uncertainty of whether they will ever be able to return to their homes weighs heavily on their hearts. For many, the Christmas season is a painful reminder of what has been lost and what may never return. The Kukis have witnessed the destruction of their homes, the deaths of family members, and the separation of loved ones. For those who have lost their homes and livelihoods, Christmas is not a time of joy, but one of silent reflection on the suffering they have endured. Their thoughts are not on festive gatherings, but on survival, rebuilding, and the hope for peace. Though that hope feels increasingly distant, the struggle for justice and peace. As the Kukis endure their pain, their struggle for justice continues. They have been displaced, their villages burned, their loved ones killed, and their rights violated. Yet, despite all this, they continue to resist. Their resistance is not just in the form of armed defense, but also in their efforts to maintain their land, culture, and dignity. They fight for a future where they can live in peace, free from the threat of violence and oppression. The establishment of buffer zones, the role of Kuki women in protecting their communities, and the ongoing struggle for survival in the face of overwhelming odds are a testament to the strength and resilience of the Kuki people. Christmas 2024 may be a time of mourning for the Kukis, but it is also a reminder of their unyielding strength and the importance of solidarity in the face of adversity. However, for true peace and security to be achieved, a separate administration for the Kuki people is essential. The current system, dominated by external influences and biases, has failed to protect the Kukis and ensure their rights and safety. Without a clear and independent administrative structure that respects Kuki land, culture, and self-governance, lasting peace cannot be realized. The Kuki people need the autonomy to manage their own affairs, protect their territory, and ensure the safety of their families from the ongoing threat of violence. Until this is addressed, the cycle of suffering and conflict will persist. As Christmas 2024 fades into history, the Kukis will continue their struggle, not just for survival, but for a future where they can live in peace with dignity. Their determination to secure their land, protect their families, and uphold their culture remains unshaken. A separate administration is a crucial step in ensuring that long-lasting peace can be achieved for the Kuki people, one where they can finally live free from fear and oppression. Disclaimer: Zalunga Media does not own the article and videos used here. Please subscribe to Zalunga Media for more updates and insights.